Good afternoon, folk. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing Telcoin. The ticker is TEL against USDT on the weekly time frame. Before I start, this video is not financial advice and is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you do enjoy the content, please do give it a thumbs up, a comment, and maybe even a subscribe if I'm lucky. So following on from my previous updates, I have done a couple in the last couple of weeks for Telcoin, and I just wanted to point out some key sort of confluence points and using some indicators and tools here that are showing relative good strength. I would say a lot of these are lagging indicators, but nonetheless we can use them to give a general trend direction on the macro scale of things. And I think using these EMAs here, we have the 55 and the EMA 20, the moving averages, the exponential moving averages on the chart here, and this yellow is the 20 and this red is the 55. Now, using this as a guidance tool, what we generally see during downtrends is price action underneath these EMAs, and you're hitting your heads on the 20 and the 55 and you're failing to break out. Now what you can see is from 2018 all the way up to January 2021, Telcoin was stuck under this key level of resistance here and was struggling to break out. And while struggling to break out of this price, we was also stuck under these EMAs, which are acting as resistance. So it was I think it was a very long period of time. If we go from the low here all the way up to where the breakout occurred, it was around 630 days. Now, what happens when you get back above the EMAs and the price action starts to carry above them, and you're above them and you're back testing them for support? This is where you generally see uptrends. So you can see when the price is moving here and you've dragged these EMAs up and you've started to move impulsively at these prices here, we were above the EMAs. This is an uptrend. When you're below the EMAs, this is a downtrend. Okay, so this is what we use the EMAs for in regards to guidance of trend direction, along with key support and resistance as well, and many other things. Just keeping it simple, using these two EMAs that we've got and using key levels of resistance. So back here from 2018 to 21, we had this key level of resistance was underneath the EMAs, and we eventually broke out and put in a new all-time high. Fast forward to where we are now, we also had a previous key level of resistance that needed to be broken out for Telcoin, which sits at a rough price of 0.003, and this acted as key resistance also for a very long time. So it wasn't up until another 670 days. So very, very similar amount of time here where you're building this sort of base. So from here until when it actually broke out, we had this base foundation, and then following on from here until we've broke out, we've had this base foundation. So you can see that at these times and periods where you are beneath these EMAs on the macro, these are ranges or general price action to, start DCAing or start just building your bags, because when you're underneath these EMAs and you get big gaps between them, these are normally big gaps between these EMAs here. You can see big gaps between these EMAs. These are normally the sort of prices that you kind of want to get in at when you're forced underneath them into a corner. You want to start looking to get involved, because this is where you see the breakouts. Okay, when you're so far extended from the EMAs. Same on the way up. When you're above the EMAs and you're very extended from them, you tend to get dragged back down to the price. When you're overextended to the downside from the EMAs, you tend to get dragged back up to the price gets dragged back up to the EMAs. Overextended to the upside from the EMAs, you get pulled back down to them. Overextended from the downside, you get pulled back up to them. So we can use, again, that's another reason why we use them for trend direction. And at the moment, there's some things that I've noticed here. Other than this accumulation range being very similar in regards to the amount of days it took here, they were both between 670 to 700 days. What I've seen in the chart, once these key levels of resistance were broken out for Telcoin, so back here in 2021 we broke out of resistance, and not so long ago in 2024 we also broke out resistance in March. Now what happened at these points of breaking resistance gave Telcoin in the past a telltale sign to say, hey, this is where things are really starting to gear off. Because we had something called a Bullcross, and this is where when the price starts to come up, you drag the EMAs up and we start to see the yellow 20 cross over the red 55. So this is called a bullish cross. And now what happened here is Telcoin broke out and it back tested the cross for continuation. Fast forward now to where we are. Only for a second time has this occurred. Back here in March 2024, not so long ago, Telcoin for a second time broke out and formed a bullish cross. And right now we have seen the back test for Telcoin to its EMAs, very similar to how it was here. We broke out of the we broke out of resistance, formed the bull cross, back tested the EMAs, and then exploded. So same thing here. We've got a bull cross, we've broke out, back tested the EMAs, and now we're looking for the explosion. So I think right now the Telcoin chart is looking extremely healthy in regards to EMAs, in regards to breaking out of multi-year resistance. We've done the same here, broken out of multi-year resistance. We've back tested the EMAs in a flag. We back tested the EMA here, bull cross, another good confluence point to say, hey, things are looking to get really explosive. Now, what I wanted to look at in regards to potential targets here for Telcoin and some more confluence points, if we get the Fibonacci's on, where was it? So from the all-time low back here in 2019, retracing to this previous high in 2018 that it started falling from, we can see that on the Fib here, Telcoin from this low to this high broke the all-time high and ran in just above the 1272. It just peaked above the 1272 by around 40%. So this, if we use this now to fast forward to our current low of this cycle, which was put in here in January 2024, and drag this up to the all-time high, in theory, we could be looking at a 21-cent Telcoin very soon. And we could be looking to see this impulsive move here literally recreate and represent itself right here. Okay, it works in waves. Bear market, bull market, bear market, bull market. I think 2024 to early 2025 are going to be very fruitful for altcoins. Again, none of this is financial advice. It's all for educational and entertainment purposes only. There are key resistant levels above, as I keep mentioning, that we need to break out of. This 0618 especially, because we had this descending triangle back here, the top of this all-time high. We started forming this bearish descending triangle. We lost the support of that, and right now we're starting to work our way, I think, back up to this, which will act as key resistance. So there is targets above that we need to keep an eye on before we see any continuation up towards this all-time high, and that is this 050 and 0618 golden ratio here between 0.007 and 0.012. It's quite a large range, but this is a key area that Telcoin does need to get back above. And equally, again, that sits at that price there, isn't it? It's a 0.01. And just to make this a bit clearer, we had this descending triangle, topping out pattern. We formed a death cross, which is the opposite of a bull cross. So bull cross is bullish, uptrend. Death cross, full, hit your head on the EMA, bearish, downtrend. Okay, so this was another point of confluence here that gave away the game. We had this descending triangle, death cross, bear market. Right now we've had this accumulation range. We're putting in higher lows, back tested the EMAs for support on a bull cross, a nice bull flag right here, looking for the continuation. And I think this is where we're trying to get to, back testing this previous level of support in this descending triangle that we've lost, and are now working our way slowly, grinding back up to key levels of resistance above. So I hope you enjoyed this content today on Telcoin. So my bull targets again are a minimum 0.21, 21 cents, which I think is about a 50, from current price is about 50 something X, I believe, 55X. Not bad, not too shabby. And again, with the overextension of about 40%, because we did overextend from this 1272, if we was to overextend another 40% or so from here, say roughly, you know, we could say that we're potentially going to come up to 32 cents, which was the 1618 target from the all-time low to the prior all-time high, and we only ran to the 1272. So it could give the game away here. Between 21 cents and 32 cents is where I think we might see Telcoin top out this cycle. I hope you enjoyed the content, guys, from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.